5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be what?
Cutting hair.
Oh, so we did this video how long ago? Like 4 years ago? Everybody really liked it, so I will link our first how to cut boys hair video down below. But we thought that we would do it again. Just, I don't know if we're gonna do something different. You know, there's always new techniques. That's what we're gonna do today after Daddy stops messing with the mess. And Rex is gonna be our model again. And then we're gonna have Daddy take it away.
All right, y'all, here we go.
You're like, Mommy, it's not about you.
All right, we got my model here, Mr. Rexy boy. And I've already asked him what he wants done, and he says, I don't know. And so we do this. We do what we want, which is gonna be essentially what I did 6 years ago, or however long ago that was. That was a long time ago. How long ago was that? How old were you, 4 or 5?
I was so little.
So I probably leave his hair a lot longer than I did in the previous video. That way he can kind of just comb it over or style it or whatever. That's probably the main difference. Otherwise, sides, back, length, fading, all remains the same, but maybe you'll learn something in this video you didn't learn in the other one. So here we go. I start off with a 1/4 inch, which is about a 2 if you're going to go to like a grape clip. I said in the first video, but it's important to go against the grain of the hair. So if the hair is growing, kind of like, he's got kind of like just a design, the way his hair grows into the nape of the neck sometimes, like he's got like a little swirl here. And so you've got to be aware of how your guard is going through the hair in the direction the hair is growing. Otherwise you'll get hair that kind of grows off to the side, and then when you see them in the light, you'll see all these little hairs sticking out, and it's so embarrassing. So, say it again.
I wait for it to be done, then I can watch videos.
Oh.
If you're interested, these are like, they're not like professional grade, but I love them because they have this amazing like little vacuum that catches everything, so it doesn't get everywhere. They're a Remington brand. I'll put a link. They had made these things a long time ago, and then they redesigned them, and I found them again, and I'm so excited about it. So, anyways, they're really cool. And if you notice, I go over the same spot a while, because you can kind of see the shadowing. If there's like a thicker area of the hair, it just kind of looks darker. And so until I'm satisfied that it all looks like a normal like shade of length of hair, like I can see the scalp the same amount, if that makes sense, that's when I kind of know that I'm ready to go on. So I'll just go at every little angle, because his hair grows in a kind of different patterns, so you got to be aware of that. In mind that when you come up to about the crown, that I'm not coming up and over like I said in my previous video. I'm just kind of hitting it up to about right there, because when I start fading it, you can obviously see a line there that'll go away, but I fade up to about here with the 1/4 inch, and then I'll hit a 1/2 inch guard through this area to thin that part out. Okay, so at this point I'm gonna fade. I'm not gonna fade anything yet. I'm just taking my 1/4 inch and I'm coming up to about an inch before where your head rolls over, and then I'll come back in with a half an inch and like a 3/4 up here just to kind of fade it in. But I don't want to go up too high with this 1/4 inch, because I don't want to, what I should say is, as I come up, my wrist is going to flick out until I get to where I'm wanting to fade that. All right, now I'm finished with the number 2 or 1/4 inch, and so now I'm gonna go lower. I've got an 1/8 inch guard on here, so it's a very low guard. And I'm just gonna go up the nape of his neck and kind of below his ears, just to kind of give it more of a taper, so it starts lower and gets gradually longer. I just like the look of that. And as I'm coming up to where I want to meet with that 1/4 inch, I gotta start fading it out. So I start my wrist flicking out, and you kind of do it about the same level up all the way around. And as I'm going up around the ear, you'll see that this corner of the buzzers are on the skin, and this part is lifted up, and I do that intentionally so that it doesn't, so I'm not just going up flat against the skin there. Sorry, buddy. Because again, the idea is to fade it, so lower here, higher here, and then gradually higher. Same thing on this way. See, this is away from the skin, this is on the skin directly. And right here, his hair grows back. So I can hit it from this direction, and it's going to take forever to get that hair down, so I just got to turn my buzzers and go the opposite way. Okay, I'm happy with that. On to the other side. Okay, so now I'm going to switch to a 3/4 guard, and I'm going to go ahead and hit this fluffy part here so that I can start seeing more clearly my line of demarcation where I need to start fading. So I'm just going to hit this, not very methodically necessarily. I'm still going to come up and hit the hair and kind of pull out though. And so you can see it's a lot much thinner. You still see the line though. That'll happen. That'll come down whenever I use my 1/2 inch guard. But now it just makes it a little easier to see what I'm working with. This is really the only part I need to fade now. Okay. Now this is my 1/2 inch guard. My dog's got a hold of it, so it still works.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you can see that line has basically disappeared already here. The only line that you might see is right here, which means I might need to take that 1/4 inch up a little higher and fade it in, or use a 3/8 right through here. So between the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch is a 3/8, and so we'll try that now. Sometimes I do it by hand, sometimes I use the guard. It's more of a finesse if you do it by hand. You got to flick the wrist, but for beginners, you might use the guard. So while that worked pretty well, I still would like to come in with another 1/4 inch guard and kind of fade this. See the darker area and the lighter area? I don't like that. Alright, I'm happy with that. And another way to test your fade is to look onward at your model. Gorgeous. Alright, so this is what I'm looking for. This comes up and I don't like it to come out here and then come back in. I don't like it to be like super short and then like really out here. I like to be an even fade up. That's how I like my fades, nice, high, and tight. I might even consider taking an 1/8 inch up here and like taking that down, but it's alright, I like it. And then that right there, you can see that ledge right here. Keep your head still, buddy. There's a little bit of a ledge right here. So it might look okay from the side, but if you look straight on, you'll see that little ledge, and that means it's not been faded correctly. Hopefully that helps. And up here, you know, obviously this is his hair I haven't cut yet. So. What do you think, homie? You doing alright?
Yeah.
You need like a popsicle or anything?
I would love a popsicle.
I do.
I'll put my Super Nintendo right there. Okay, so here you can obviously see we've got some fading problems. Well, we obviously haven't got to this point, but I'm showing you what we're going to fix and what a fade actually is supposed to look like. So you should not be able to see any kind of lines like this. So let's do this. I'm gonna come in with my 1/2 inch guard, knock down this line. And again, I'm coming up, I'm just kind of whipping my wrist out. And if you notice, I turned going towards the hair growth. It's just coming around this way, and I go into it. If that makes sense. Let me show this to me. Alright, so his hair grows this way. So I'm purposely going up at. A little trip when you're cutting kids' hair, I like to grab their hair and hold their head. And even for adults, because adults start like nodding off. And I'm always like, would you get your head back up? So I just hold on to it. And I think people like that too, because they don't have to worry about where their head is. I remember getting my hair cut, and I always be nodding off. And I always felt really bad. I'm like, this person probably thinks that I'm like an... No, they'd start cutting and your head goes forward and you just go forward with it and you feel like an idiot and you're like, by the time you know you're down here and they pull your head back up. So I just like to put my people's heads where it's supposed to be, so they don't have to wonder. Does it hurt when I grab your head?
No.
Okay, good. Child tested, parent approved. I should say, parent tested, child approved. Alright, I'm kindly happy with this, as they say in Kentucky. Kindly, except for I'm not. Alright, we're going to throw on here a 3/8.
No move!
3/8.
If I lose,
and then,
because of that,
let's see if we can get in the right light. I see this still creeper line. I don't like it. Alright, now that has disappeared. Alright, I'm happy with that fade. All around, let's check it, let's peep it. And then the thing you can look for, which I'm anal retentive about, sometimes you can see where this should be faded, you'll see some longer hairs here. That usually means your buzzers need to be sharpened, I think. Or this means you've got to go over it multiple more times before you'll get it where you want it.
I didn't even pass a little.
So I'm going to try to hit this right now. Alright, so this bottle, spray bottle, is really fabulous. If you're cutting hair at home or even in a shop, you probably know about it. But if you're at home, this is really cool. They're like 10 to 12 bucks, but they just missed. And all you do is pull a trigger. It's really, I don't know how it works. I have no idea. But it doesn't leave your client with their head with a sopping wet mess on their head dripping down their face. It's worst. It's the worst. So this makes it much more manageable. You get water right where you want it. You don't have to worry about the mess. Alright, for Rexy here, we're going to do a style I like to call, I don't know, I think it just looks good.
I definitely should have done.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to partition off the hair right at the, shoot, I don't know what this is called. I'm not a professional. Right at this point here, where your part would be on both sides.
Wait, like the Joker, where his hair is split into.
You need like 2
Oh, the face.
Get a sack. Get a sack. Just get a sack.
What do y'all think?
Nice.
You like that hair?
No.
You don't like it, do you?
Nolan might like it because he always puts his hair to the side.
That's right, he does, doesn't he? Now what I like to do is come in with a comb
I win.
and just knock off all this longer hair here.
Oh my gosh, I knew every play he was going on. I got a cherry rice.
And you lost that.
Oh, I just got a cherry rice.
And then what I also like to do, which is just another way of fading,
Cherry rice.
is to use a comb and use your
Mike
buzzers.
Evans is a cheat code.
And what you're looking to do is as you pull your comb up, you're looking to see kind of how the hair falls
He's just a cheat code.
and what hair comes through the comb. And you can use your comb as a reference. Come right across and take the hair down. That's another way of fading it. It takes a little bit more practice and skill to do it this way. But, you know, ultimately it's your hair. If you screw up, who cares? Your hair will grow back. That's the great thing about it. Don't be afraid to start. Try it. You might like the way you do it better.
Bro, it seems so good.
How far can you zoom it in?
John and like T.O., Ken Hendricks, Marcus Allen, and Brian Dolphins.
I'll go ahead and trim him up.
Alexander or something. Okay, we get ball first this time, finally.
I usually come right to the top of the earlobe. That's about as far down as he grows anyway, so naturally right there. I've seen people cut up here and I don't understand why they're doing that. I don't know if they're like,
Oh, nice.
I think that's weird. Don't do that. I think that's not normal. It's not proper etiquette and it doesn't look right. So just don't
What
do
if I
it.
just kept running because he died like way.
What do you think, right?
Like the ears.
You know, people
Like how much
do
space
that.
they get.
Yeah, they cut it way too high.
Yeah, I've seen Brady, my friend. He gets like an inch of room.
Why does he do that?
Like,
You can see where the hair naturally stops growing.
and
And I like to come right there where it just naturally stops growing. And just take that line straight across. You want to make sure this is even, otherwise it looks unprofessional and it looks uncomely. And it looks
He gets to try that.
just, it looks off-putting. That's a good term. Hold on.
Fuller? No, I don't know. Crowd isn't bad. He's bad. Oh, that's sad. Joey Bosa finally comes up big. Lost great. Let's go. I'm married to it.
I like to make sure that they're trimmed up. Sometimes they get this caterpillar growing. He doesn't really, but I used to. My other kid does. So, you know, we freshen them up. You know, they get a little hair growing up here or whatever. You know, we take it down, make them look nice. You know how we do. All right, now we're over to the other side. Really what I'm doing here is I'm just grabbing all the long hair that'll stay and the short hair that falls out. I'm pulling back down here until I got a nice line right here, just back. If you're not going to do a cut-in part, you don't have to have this line straight necessarily, but you want to try to get it as straight as possible. Because I like to section off what hair is short. That way it makes it easier when you're fixing your hair. You don't have to worry about hair coming from the side that shouldn't be there because it's only the top hair that you want to mess with. During the cutting process, what I like to do is establish length first. Generally you do that by combing the hair down.
This is too hard.
Alright, look up for me, Mr. Model. Thank you. And if I take it down just above his eyebrows, let's say I'll leave him a little bit of length, but for the most part, right above his eyebrows. What'd you do?
I need a fidget spinner.
You need a fidget spinner?
Only me a
I
second.
totally understand that.
What if you don't need to sit?
Yeah, I got it.
Alright, so now once you have the length, you can pull that length up this way and just kind of even that up.
JJ,
I needed to quit.
you got to.
And you transfer that length, you come sideways.
The moment it like stops working.
Oh no, Beckham, your coach.
And what I like to do is if you imagine the hair's up, I like to have a little bit more hair in the front and then a little less in the back, and so it would kind of taper down this way. So if you took a comb and raised the hair up, if you cut this way, that's kind of the effect that I'm going for as far as that shape. More hair in the front, less in the back to have to work with. So as you pull that up, you can see here where I cut, this back here is longer. And then the next segment of hair, I want to have shorter than that part, and then just gradually work back from that. My unofficial methodology.
Food. No.
Alright, now that I've established the length in through the center, I can now turn and level up both sides to that center.
Let's see if I'm gonna be
Let's see.
from that. Okay.
Okay.
I got it. Wait, I should have played it. Oh no.
Hey, look up. Close your eyes.
No, it isn't. Crap,
And once you've gone down through the center,
Thank you.
now we'll section off this other third over here.
Should I play with this scene like one?
And really all I'm doing is I'm looking at the hair that's obviously 1/2 of an inch here, and then we've got this that's like 2 inches here, and we want to have some kind of gradual progression down, at least in the hairstyle I'm going for. If you wanted all of this long to comb over, you wouldn't be doing any of this, but his hairstyle is more where all of the styles kind of in pieces and parts on the top of his head. It's not combed over necessarily like it might be the style you're going for. If so, you'd want to single out all the hair and comb it over and not touch it really. You'd cut the length maybe, but you wouldn't cut layers into it essentially. And in doing this and dividing the hair and cutting it, I'm kind of sectioning it off and doing it in different layers so it all blends. But you don't really want to blend. You do, but the hairstyle would just be a little different. So keep that in mind when you're deciding how to cut. And I'm always thinking and considering the shape of his head. And when I do my hair, if I've got hair here and then the hair back here is longer, it doesn't create a good style. And so I'm always constantly thinking, how much hair do I want where? And then I cut accordingly. All right, so now we've gone through that third over here.
Oh my gosh.
Again, like I said, as I come through here, I'm looking at the length here and the length down here. This should be shorter than this, and you can see right here I still need to kind of take that part down. So I'm going to cut it down at an angle. And the same thing goes for the top. I want the front to be longer than the back. And so I'm going to make sure I cut it that way and then come back through in this direction and then fade it from higher here to lower here so that it's exactly the shape of my comb essentially. So I want the hair to kind of be shorter, longer, 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 longer. And you can see here where this is actually longer than up here. It's where I hadn't really faded around the crown yet. Alright, that's all I'm about to do, bruh. I'm just coming back and checking on that kind of slope design hair length that I'm worried about. Alright, let's put some stuff in and see what it look like.
Oh no.
I'm also going through my thinning shears now, and I'm going just for like the last inch of the hair. And I'm just going to hit it, move up a little bit, hit it again, and I'm just taking out some of the thickness of the tips, of the end of the hair. Hey, if you like this video, why don't you go ahead and like it right now. Share it with someone that you think might like to cut their own kids' hair. You know why? Because people need to be empowered to do stuff themselves if they want to. Because too many people are tired or scared of trying stuff. And it's really, we don't have time for that. Try it. Try it. You never know if you'll be good at it. You could be the next Van Gogh of haircuts. You don't even know. Just try it. So if you like this, share it with somebody. And give it a like. And you know what? Let us know how long you've been cutting hair. Let us know any tips and tricks that you have for us, maybe. And if you have any questions specifically, I would love to answer them. I'm not awesome. I'm amazing. And so are you. I'm just playing. I do not have a stylist license, so anything that is said here, take with your own, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Risk.
Yeah, so listen to my advice with your own risk. If you jab yourself in the eyeball, that is not my fault, nor is it Rex's fault. He was just a good boy sitting here getting his hair cut.
Aiden, is Walter being weird again?
Oh, it's almost dead.
I'm free.